Greetings survivors and friends, SHADOWFRAX here with your weekly selection box of rusty development morsels, where today I have a first look at some bits of jungle. That's not a knife, this is a knife, inflatable horses, and news on a new sub, a Naval update, no, not that kind, and the Squeaky Boy 3000. But first, last week I mentioned a load of changes coming to Softcore mode, and it seems a few of you might have speed listened to the vid as it looked like you were getting confused in the comments. So just to make it clear, these changes are just to Softcore mode servers. Normie mode Rust is staying the same. Well, kind of. I mean, it's always changing. But as a quick recap on how it looks at the moment, changes coming to Softcore mode are as follows. Deployables will drop half their contents when destroyed and leave a corpse behind, which the base owner can repair to access the other half. Corpses can either be repaired directly, or they can now be picked up and repaired in a bench. If repaired directly where they are, any locks that were on them will also be retained. This applies to tool cupboards as well, which will leave a temporary building block and a corpse, which can later be repaired by an authorized player. Destroyed bags, beds and towels will now leave a corpse that can be spawned at one additional time. There are some big changes coming to how items are reclaimed after death. First, reclaim terminals are being removed, and instead if, or should I say when, you die, upon respawning you'll automatically get back half of your belt, inventory and backpack, with the other half, including your clothes, all being found on your corpse. Although, if you die in building privilege or F1 kill, you'll lose everything. You'll now keep any boosts you had from teas, etc. when you respawn. Player bullet damage is being reduced by 25% as default. The maximum team size is being set to 4, and this limitation also applies to the number of players that can be authorized on TCs and turrets, and there are changes coming to upkeep, with doors being calculated separately, it seems. This is all highly subject to change, though, and we should get a full write-up and details in April's patch on the 3rd, and I'll fill you in then. And just to bookend this to avoid confusion, these changes only apply to Softcore mode. Softcore. That's the mode these changes apply to. Just Softcore. Last week I showed some quality of life changes coming, with radius of effect visuals for the heater and sprinkler when you're deploying them, and since then, over on staging, this is now being extended to include Tesla coils, HBHF sensors, igniters, and most importantly, auto turrets, flame turrets, and shotty turrets, although the auto turret and HBHF ones are of a size where they can't be seen from inside them at the moment. I'm sure this will get fixed soon. It's a big quality of life boost, obviously, but if you want to keep your screen as minimal as your loot boxes, then you can turn it off in the menu here. New items, jungle goodness, and remote subs next. But first, you want a real quality of life boost? How about 30% off your own server that's less fuss than a starter shack, but has more kick than a horse that's just eaten a server's worth of pies? Well then, you need Pine Hosting. With powerful no-nonsense servers worldwide, equipped with any casted DDoS protection, you'll be safe from attacks and get the best possible ping to make your server rank higher. Manage it from anywhere with a powerful but easy-to-use console that makes both a quick and easy config or an in-depth customization as easy as pie. With over 1,700 plugins that can be installed with a click, you can turn your server into a zombie rave, a medieval RPG, a playground for you and your friends, or whatever floats your kayak. And with free server migration, Pine are only too happy to help you move all your scrap over so nothing is lost. And if you're not addicted to Rust, liar, Pine supports all these other games too. Bottom line, your Rust empire deserves more than a Twig tier server, so grab the high qual today and get 30% off with code SHADOWFRAX and my link in the description and pinned comment. Back to the staging branch now, and there are a couple of new toys on the way for April. Firstly, a very sensible and fashionable inflatable horse costume, which comes in 3 exciting styles and has exactly the same stats as the chicken one, including egg vision. Personally, I'd like to see a 2-man pantomime horse costume, which would require some coordination of course, but could be an excellent stealth item. And then there's the Sunken Combat Knife, which is a skin for the normal combat knife, sharing all the same stats, and I believe will be included in the Abyss DLC pack at no extra charge. And in another small change, bread loaves will now heal over time instead of giving insta-heals. Oh, and the max placement distance for wall and pole mounted hanging banners is being increased to make placing them less of a journey. So, now, I've got a first look for you of the jungle biome that's currently only on an internal branch, but here you can get a flavour for how it will look compared to the others with its own flora and fauna. Just remember, this is still being worked on, subject to change, blah blah blah. As you can see, there are a lot of new plants and trees, and what's this? a sighting of the new Croc chilling next to a river. I have a feeling you might end up unlocking a new fear of logs after having been here for any length of time. I've also got a couple of shots of the jungle ruins that will be biome-specific monuments, just to give you a flavour of how these will look. And I know there is a new jungle building skin being worked on for Stone Tier as well, so I'm wondering whether it might be quite close in looks to these. There's also going to be a larger ziggurat monument, of course. There are a lot of commits relating to all this jungle stuff going on, with some of the latest focusing on animal behaviour. For instance, crocs will be able to chase you faster in water, but will get tired on land, and tigers will have complex flee mechanics, which will depend on your distance to them and what you're aiming at them with. A couple of new untextured assets have appeared, so you can get a rough idea of what the Boomerang will look like, along with a bottle of venom, which you'll be able to collect from the jungle snakes and load your blow darts with. There are also going to be some special trees which jungle vines will grow from, and apparently it'll be possible to destroy these trees, but a stump will remain, which will regrow in 10 seconds. They do say stuff grows faster in the jungle. They're not wrong. Elsewhere, in the commits, other interesting stuff's in the pipeline. There's some skin-related improvements with a clothing material refresh branch and an upgrade to transparency on the large wood box, which should lead to some more creative skins on this item. There's a branch titled Vertical Storage Tests that looks like it'll introduce wall-mounted shelving solutions in different sizes, and it appears like we still don't have enough boats. Naturally, because there's a commit on a branch called Naval Update, which mentions a trawler ship, and a couple for a branch called ROV Sub, which I've been able to ascertain means something like this, basically a remote control sub. Think drones, but underwater. And all of this makes me think, are we going to get another sea-based patch sometime this year? Will we be getting more things to explore underwater? Actual floating bases, maybe? Stay tuned, and I'll let you know what else surfaces. And lastly, ideas in the comments, please, on what or who Squeaky Boy 3000 is. Knowing Face Punch, it's probably some kind of DLC, unless it's something to do with that Robo-Camel thing from a few years ago that's still in concept limbo. But I guess we'll hear more about it soon, and I'll let you know as soon as I do. Right, you are up to date, so please leave a like and a comment below. You can support the channel here with super thanks, YouTube memberships, and via Patreon. Also check me out on my socials, including my Steam group, to stay in the loop. I shall catch you all soon, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio. No, not that kind.